Oh, listen, if you want to win yourself £1,000 in our competition, AFTV Picks, then the link is in the description. You can win yourself £1,000 and it is free to enter. Enter AFTV Picks, absolutely free to enter. Get involved now.
Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Brought to you today by AFTV Picks. Don't forget you can win yourself £1,000 or a share of £1,000. You can win it outright. It could be a share of it. All you got to do is click the link in the description. It's free to enter. All right. And you get yourself a chance to win that. Remember, somebody last week won a share of the money and also won a brand new iPhone 12. So get involved in a competition, free to enter. You go head to head with me on some simple questions around today's game, which of course is the start of our defense of the FA Cup. And I want to win this cup again. Listen, at the start of the season, there's 4 cups you can win, right? We're not going to win the league. We know that one, right? We're not going to win the Carabao Cup. There's 2 others, FA Cup and Europa League, and let's go for both of them. So I'm hoping that he puts a strong team out today, Mikel Arteta. I think he will do. It'd be great, hopefully, to see Thomas Partey in there, Martinelli in there as well, hopefully. So I'm really looking forward to the game today. Could be really, really exciting. So Arsenal taking on Newcastle. It's going to be a cold day at the moment. It's freezing out there. Kieran Tierney, if he plays, it won't bother him, of course. But looking forward to that game today. Arsenal taking on Newcastle. Of course, there's one player that you know will not be playing in that game. Do you know who that is? This guy. He won't be playing. Mesut Ozil, at the moment, still negotiating his deal with Fenerbahce. He is on his way out of Arsenal, as we know. But what will the deal be? Now, there's a lot of talk that the deal could be a loan move until the end of the season. Of course, his contract runs out at the end of the season, and then he can then negotiate a new deal with Fenerbahce, or maybe he might even decide that, you know what, actually, I want to go to the MLS. Now, Arsenal is said to be unwilling to pay him off or to pay any of his wages during that period of that loan. So if they had to pay him off, they'd have to pay like £7.2 million to pay him off from now till the end of the season. They don't want to pay that. And they're said to be not interested in paying any of those wages. Of course, he's currently on £350,000 a week. There's no way Fenerbahce are going to give him that. And also unwilling to meet any of his wages as well. So let's see if this ends up being a sticking point. Hopefully it won't be a sticking point. But it does look that Mesut Ozil is on his way out, but it's just going to be how the deal looks. I saw some really interesting comments from William Saliba. I touched on it last night when we done the live show with Cecil and with James. And William Saliba's quotes when he was interviewed by the French media after playing his first game for Nice the other night, they were asking him about his time this season at Arsenal. And he said, and these are his quotes, "My first 6 months at Arsenal were difficult because I was coming from 6 months where I wasn't able to train because I was at home because of the pandemic and couldn't train outside and couldn't play." And then he goes on to talk about how, you know, he said to Mikel Arteta, you know, let me give you the exact quotes. He says, the coach immediately, he said, "I arrived there and we were finishing the league season, so I was training alone. As soon as I came back from my holidays, we quickly had the first friendly matches where I lacked rhythm and was a bit insufficient physically. The coach immediately told me that I was not ready to play." Don't note that word there, immediately. "I would have at least liked to have had the chance to rediscover my rhythm, but this is football. It's like that. I've signed a 6-month contract. After these 6 months, we will see what happens. But for now, I've signed 6 months and I'm going to give my all, and then we will see." So even there, he's sort of seemingly suggesting that, you know, when the 6 months is up, I don't even know what's going to happen. I suppose he's got to say that. But interesting there that, you know, he said that he wasn't given a chance. That's what he's suggesting. He wasn't given a chance to prove his sort of, that he's got his rhythm back and he's got his full fitness. And certainly it would have affected him, because remember, he was over in the French league, and the French league was cancelled, wasn't it? And they were just at home and they couldn't train. So I understand that part, but it does, certainly you can see there that he feels he wasn't given a chance at all to prove himself at Arsenal. Hopefully he can prove himself on loan and come back into the Arsenal team next season. There's also rumours around today that Arsenal might try and bring back Matteo Guendouzi off of his loan. Again, another player that was shipped out by Mikel Arteta. There seem to be discipline problems, seem to be at the heart of it. He's gone over, he's been playing for Hertha Berlin, played for him 9 times a season, has really impressed the coach there, has been, singing his praises, saying he's been showing real leadership qualities on the pitch. But there's a rumour, and that rumour is coming from the German publication Bild, that Arsenal might bring him back off of that loan move because he's done well, because they're short in midfield. They might bring him back. The rumour even goes on to say that Hertha Berlin are lining up Yannick Berdhardt from Wolfsburg as a replacement if Guendouzi does come back. That would be really interesting if they brought him back. I mean, I don't know what to think of that. Would you guys like him to come back right now? Do you think it would be a good move to bring Matteo Guendouzi back? Certainly, we all know we need a creative midfielder. I don't know if he is that creative midfielder, though, is he? Again, he's not that sort of number 10 type playing. He's another guy who sits deep in midfield and does all his best work from there. But Guendouzi being linked with a move back, and as I said, the rumours coming out of Germany that, Hertha Berlin lining up a replacement in case that happens. Eddie Nketiah has been linked with a move away today. Eddie been linked with a move to West Ham. Now, West Ham, of course, they sold their big money signing and striker Sebastian Haller. He's gone to Ajax for 20 million. The rumours are that West Ham are looking at one of 3 players, and Eddie Nketiah is one of those to replace Haller. Josh King's another one at Bournemouth, but Eddie Nketiah is one of the players they're looking at. There's also rumours that Arsenal would be willing to sell. If the price was right, they'd be looking for something towards £30 million. Wow, that's a lot of money for Eddie Nketiah. I mean, he has got a great goal-scoring record for the England under-21s. His under-23 goal-scoring record has been great. For the first team, it hasn't been as great. Well, nowhere near as great. He's sort of not a regular starter, we know, but hasn't looked like a prolific scorer, but then, doesn't play week in, week out. West Ham said to be really interested in him. They're said to be willing to pay about 20 million. What would you guys do? We had a big discussion on it last night on the show. Would you take the 20 million? Would you cash in on Eddie Nketiah? Or do you think, no, keep him around, keep him in the squad? Be really interested to find out from you guys in the comments about it. But Eddie being linked with a move away today. Interesting. Be interesting to see if he starts today as well. If he starts, if he doesn't start, if he's not in the squad, then you might start thinking to yourself, hey, is there something in this? Because this is the type of game that you might think he might start in. Marcel Sabitzer, again, a guy who's been linked heavily with Arsenal. Now, there's reports again coming out of Germany that there's a 2-way battle for his signature between Arsenal and Tottenham. Both teams are after his signature. Of course, 26-year-old midfielder. He can create. He is a good player. His contract expires with RB Leipzig in June. So June 2022, is when his contract is up. RB Leipzig, probably unlikely to sell him in January. I don't think this is going to be something that's going to happen in January, but maybe willing to sell him in the summer if they can't negotiate a new deal with him. Remember, players at clubs like Leipzig, they won't be on anything wage-wise in comparison to what they'd be getting probably playing for one of the top Premier League teams. So it is tempting for them to come to the Premier League, and Marcel Sabitzer is the latest of a long line of players out of Leipzig that is getting linked with Arsenal. There's also a player, RB Salzburg, which is, of course, Red Bull. RB stands for Red Bull. They own Leipzig. They own Salzburg as well in Austria. And this guy, his name is Enoch Mwepu. He plays for RB Salzburg. Now, he's 23, defensive midfielder, can also play box-to-box, primarily a sort of a defensive midfielder. There's been rumours going around that Arsenal are really interested in him and see him as a cheaper option to Basuma at Brighton. Basuma at Brighton, of course, has been heavily linked with a move to Arsenal, probably in the summer. But Arsenal apparently looking at this guy, Enoch Mwepu. He's had a couple of good seasons now at Leipzig. This season, he scored 3 goals and he's had 4 assists. He's got a brilliant nickname. They nickname him the Computer, right? I love that name. I love that nickname, the Computer. Nicknamed the Computer because he reads the game so well. Love that. That's a brilliant nickname. But he has been linked with a move to Arsenal. As I said, box-to-box or defensive midfielder, but great at reading the game and, you know, scored a few. I know it's the Austrian league. You got to caution a bit. It's not the same as being in the Premier League by far. But the scouts at Salzburg, you know, they seem to unearth loads and loads of gems. And he seems to be another one of them. Could it be a player that Arsenal might look to towards bringing in? And then there's Patson Daka. Now, this guy's been getting quite a lot of people excited. He's had a prolific he had a prolific season last season at RB Salzburg. 27 goals he scored. This season, he's already scored 15 goals and 5 assists in just 17 games. That's prolific. And again, I suppose we have to caution a bit. It's the Austrian league. It's not the Premier League. Wouldn't be as easy as that probably to get those goals in the Premier League. But he's getting people excited at the moment. He's only 22. He's a Zambian international, as is Enoch Mwepu, by the way. They're both from Zambia. And he's been viewed upon as a long-term replacement for Alexander Lacazette. Remember, Lacazette, even though he's been doing brilliantly, you know, didn't really, not at the start of the season, but he's really picked it up and has been an important player. Lacazette's contract at the end of the season, he'll be into his last year. We don't know what's going to happen with him. Could Patson Daka be that long-term replacement? I don't think this would be something that could get done in January, but it could be something Arsenal might look at in the summer. And it was really interesting recently. He gave an interview to BBC Africa. And these are his quotes. He says, "To see our big brothers like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Mo Salah and Sadio Mane is something that gives me a dream that I can also make it. I can be like them. They are my inspiration, knowing that they also came from Africa." And he's very keen, apparently, on a move to the Premier League. Listen, if he's half as good as any of those players, he's some player. So he's been linked with a move to Arsenal today. There are apparently a lot of, listen, with a goal scoring record like that, you alert every club in the Premier League, every club around Europe with those sort of stats. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. Again, I don't think this is a move that was probably going to happen in January. More, you're looking, it's a summer move somewhere. But Patson Daka, interesting Arsenal at the moment. Now, we all know that Arsenal, we've got a great goalkeeper in Bernd Leno. We're very unsure about the number 2 position in Runarsson. It's going to be interesting again today to see if Runarsson starts in the game, FA Cup game against Newcastle. Normally in these sort of FA Cup games, these are the games where the manager will say, right, number 2 goalkeeper, you come in, you know, you get a run out. You've been sat on the sidelines all season. This is your time. I don't think he will today. I think he'll go with Leno in goal. It's a Premier League team we're up against. You know, Runarsson had a horror show in the last game against Manchester City. You know, Newcastle are a good side. They've got good strikers in Callum Wilson, and, you know, they can bring in guys like Andy Carroll, right? Formidable guys that will try and rough him up. They would have seen the display against Man City and some of the displays in the Europa League. So there's a lot of talk that Arsenal are still in for a number 2 goalkeeper. Of course, Matt Macey has gone and joined Hibernian on loan from now till the end of the season, and he's leaving the club as well. So, will Arsenal go back in for David Raya? David Raya of Brentford, 25. He was the #1 target for that #2 spot when Emi Martinez went and joined Aston Villa. However, it didn't happen in the summer. And then we went and got in Runarsson. Runarsson we only paid about just over £1 million for. It's looking to me, and I hope I'm not being too harsh, that Runarsson doesn't look like he's quite ready yet to be that guy that would step in to be #2. Remember, your #2 goalkeeper can become your #1 goalkeeper for a length of time, right? Because you saw last season what happened to Leno, and when he was out, you know, the reins had to be taken up by Emi Martinez, and he did it brilliantly. And look at the important games he had to play, semi-finals and finals of FA Cups, you know, Community Shields, and done brilliantly in all those games. Could Runarsson do that? You need a top #2. Your #2 could be the person who's in goal all the way through your Europa League run as well as the FA Cup run. So it's a #2 goalkeeper nowadays is very, very, very important. And David Raya would make a fantastic #2. And you want your #2 to push your #1, which is what Emi Martinez was doing, where you don't know who should get that spot. Now, could Arsenal get David Raya away from Brentford? Brentford are currently 4th in the Championship, in the playoff places. They're fighting to try and get into the Premier League. Remember, they just missed out on it last season, and they're desperate to come back. Could Arsenal get David Raya away from them this January? I doubt it. Again, I think it's more one that if it did happen, you're more talking about a summer move. But Raya being linked heavily with a move to Arsenal would be a good sign, I think. Fits what Arsenal are after. But would it happen? Be very, very interesting to see how that one pans out. So those are the rumours today. Of course, don't forget the game today. Arsenal taking on Newcastle. Really, really looking forward to it. Let's hope we can get off to a great start. Let's keep this winning run going. Let's keep the good vibes flowing with another good performance. And hopefully we can get some of those players, like, as I said, like Partey, I want to see. Love to see Pepe step up today. Martinelli. You know, we've got some good players in there. Let's see if they can do the business today in the FA Cup. Thanks for watching the show, and I will be back tomorrow.
Oh, listen, if you want to win yourself £1,000 in our competition, AFTV Picks, then the link is in the description. You can win yourself £1,000, and it is free to enter. Enter AFTV Picks, absolutely free to enter. Get involved now.